We are back. We are back for more rings of power. Glenn for punishment. I'm not doing that alone. I'm bringing him here. You're gonna suffer just like me.
The rings of poo sauce, more like it, man. Oh,
As
good
the
lord.
thumbnail says, the Fellowship of Turds.
This will be the last one we do until
Is it? Is
the
it?
season 3 comes
There
out.
might be a season
And then
3,
we
so
suffer more.
but the CGI was great.
CGI, yeah, I give hats off to the Balrog.
You just hate it when
Balrog.
you hate it when I just mentioned that only.
Ugh,
You're like, is that the only thing?
that's the only thing. It's
But we'll discuss. We're gonna wrap this up in a nice turd bow, and send it into the river, or on into the river away from us, the ocean depths
send
of
them back to
Mordor.
Valinor.
Mordor, not Valinor, doesn't deserve to go to heaven. Mordor, in the lava pits it goes.
Damn.
But yeah, we're gonna finish off Rings of Power season 2. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it all. We're gonna do it a little differently. We're gonna sort of opening statements of Rings of Power, how the state of affairs are, things are going with this show, how the first trailer dropped. How did we feel about it? Do you remember just before the show started, and they're trying to pump this thing as the greatest thing ever created by man? How do you feel that you've watched the show? I mean, not without giving conclusion, we'll do conclusions at the end. But how did you feel when you first saw the trailer? What were your thoughts?
So when I heard that they were doing like the 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 past of it, like kind of like the Silmarillion age of it, going into the Lord of the Rings, I was like, okay, this is kind of exciting. We never really got that story, so it'll be exciting to see how it goes. And the assumption is they'd stay true to what Tolkien wrote, and even with the movies, like Peter Jackson did a pretty good job following those. I know Tolkien's son did not like what they did for most of it, but I mean, a lot of fans really ended up liking it. And going into this, it was like, okay, since they bought MGM, it's probably going to be the same kind of deal, and it'll be a good time, and we'll get a lot of like backlore and figure out what the hell happened leading up to that point. And then it aired. and then they aired it.
Hopes and dreams were shattered.
And I was like, who's this? Who's this lady? And then you find out it's Galadriel, and you're like, but that's not her. she doesn't do that. she doesn't do these things, man. Like, what do you mean this is Galadriel? I was like, I was expecting more like more mysticism, like magic, wisdom talks. I was ready for a show that wasn't really action packed. I expected a little bit of action, but for me, I felt like it should have been more lore based and more. I mean, there's definitely like politics involved with what they want to do, and how they want to go about doing things, but more of a smart, intelligent show where it's like a game of chess. That's what I was kind of expecting. Yeah.
For me, I saw this and I'm like, how are they going to condense such a huge timeline? There's literally over 1,000 years in the process.
Yeah.
Sauron doesn't get to this high point overnight.
No.
It's a long buildup.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, how are they going to do this? Because people will die and get born. Elves get older. Like there's going to be characters coming and going. And how are you going to do that?
Right.
Especially the humans.
Yes. Right? Especially humans and the dwarves, realistically.
Yeah. The elves are the only ones that can kind of live a long time. But that they're still not immortal. They're not going to live forever.
Yeah. Like they do eventually die and get reborn into like new bodies. But yeah, like what you said, people die and pass on. And it feels like they're really trying to rush these things with the current characters that they have.
Well, people are fast porting into different areas of Middle Earth. It's like they're instantly there.
It's like a video game, dude.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like next scene, you're already fast traveled, right? but only when it's convenient.
Yeah.
But when there's like, for example, uh, Galadriel and Elrond, when they're traveling together, they get this whole beautiful scene of the mountains traversing through the canyons and all that stuff, and then they get to a bridge that's broken. They're like, "Well, what are we gonna do now? Like, we're gonna have to go around and everything. It's gonna take days." And you're like, "Didn't we just see all these other people go through all that place real fast? Like, do they know a cheat code that these guys don't know? Like a
Yeah.
hidden road,
They busted
right?"
out the Game Shark and popped that sucker in, man.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's going back, Game Shark. Jeez, way to date us. 90% of the audience, what the hell they're talking about?
What's a Game Shark? What's a Game Genie, dude?
Google it, kids. Google it. Wow. Okay. I lost for thoughts now. But no, I was going back to that. Like, it's so the show. It has so many of these glaring issues, and you would just think that we're no, we're not experts. We don't have degrees in
No.
writing, literature, or anything like that. We're just common folks, right?
Yeah.
And
And
if common
I'd like to
folks,
call myself a fan, but I'm not a hardcore fan like some of the
yeah,
viewers we've had
yeah, we have
going
people come
through
on
this
here
with
and
us.
go, "Hey, hold on a second, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, appendices this, page this." I'm like, "Hey, yo, okay, cool, you're hardcore fan." But what I'm trying to get at is, if the average person watching this show points out glaring plot holes,
Mhm.
glaring mistakes, editing, writing, if they point out these things, that's bad. That's really, really bad.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even just that. It's like they're so even new people watching this, if they decide like, oh, this is based off a book, like, hey, let's read the book, and then they go read all these information that like it's provided in a manner that they didn't show, they're going to be like, well, who's right and who's wrong here? Well, clearly the book's right because they've been out before the goddamn show.
Mhm.
Um, and they're just going to confuse people. It's like, wouldn't you want something to be coherent with the original works instead of doing your own thing and changing characters up for the sake of so-called good television?
Yeah, I agree. And I will remind people all the time, and I want to talk about this next. Is before we get into our review here, I want to set it up as well. We've said it before, and this is actual evidence. There's proof and facts out there that this is the highest, most expensive TV show ever made.
Today.
Period. Yeah, to this day, yeah, it
Mhm.
is the most expensive. There's a lot of money invested, billion of dollars invested in this thing. um, what I want to ask you was money well invested?
I don't think so, man. Like even from the first season, when you look at the costumes, you look at their location settings, it didn't feel too different from one another. Especially the locations. All of it really seemed like it was done in some sort of wooded area next to each other. Um, I would say the only place that felt different was the dwarven caves because it was literally in a mountain, right?
Yeah.
So you could say, okay, well, that was different. But from going to Linden to the shitty little village that Theo and them are from, I can't remember what it's called.
Don't insult us by calling it a village. It's an alley.
Yeah, it felt the same. And then you look at Numenor when they showed off Numenor, it just felt like uh a watered down Gondor from the movies. Like, they were trying to emulate what Garner it should Numenor should have been much grander, in my opinion.
Well, they give you this panning of grandness in
Yeah,
the trailers and the season before, but they don't give it to you when you get into the foot level.
yeah.
All you see is from bird's eye view of how grand this place is.
Mhm.
The minute you're on the ground, it just feels like a studio setting.
Yeah.
It just
It
feels
it
like a few
didn't there
walls
was
here
no
and there, some people in the background brooming their house, and that's it.
Mhm. It really felt like there was no way to differentiate where they were in this world. It felt the same.
You could argue that the Hobbit in Peter Jackson felt more grander.
Ye 100%.
You
100%.
actually can
'Cause
see
it
locales and levels of houses and directions.
Yeah. Yeah, like, they actually were on a path traveling from point A to point B. And you knew all the in-betweens going from
That's
the
Soundwave's
Shire
house
to
over
the
there. That's Frodo's house over there.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah,
you kind of got to know what the whole makeup of their village was,
yeah,
right? Where's the bar or where's the tavern, whatever you want to call it? Where's the bridge with the water wheel? You had an idea of the city layout
mhm,
because the camera directions that they gave you in the beginning, then they actually traversing around the village gives you all of that,
yeah,
right? It visually explains things to you.
yeah. Like, you knew the Shire was the Shire just
Yeah,
by seeing where they were at.
yeah.
Like, it speaks to the show when I can't even remember what that little dinky town they were called is from. Like, you just know the major places, and that's it.
Because all it was a couple of huts and mud.
Yeah.
That's it. There's
It
no hey, there's no place to get food. There's no place to
Mhm.
get water. There's nobody as a blacksmith. Like you don't know where specific places are. We
Yep.
don't even know where Theo and his mom lived. We don't
No.
know. It just random
Mm-mm.
door opens up and they're in their house.
Yep. It's
Right? It's the world building that these guys don't know how to do,
yeah.
and it's sad
But
because
it's sad because it's laid out for them. Like, it's in the books, man. Like, just go read it. Read a
yeah,
book. Like, good lord.
you have so much money. It feels like the money that they spent. Um, Forget about spending it wisely. It's they didn't know how to go about spending it because, and we're gonna get into it now, is too many plot lines. When you're throwing money at
Mhm.
multiple plot lines, you're taking away of just making one or two plot lines really good
Yes.
because you're dividing your money into 5 places, right? And that to me is the biggest problem with this show is way too many plot lines,
And
and
it's like, who do you care about?
it starts coming down on itself. The whole show.
Yeah.
The problem is you decide to get like right now we were talk about what is it 5 plot lines today.
Mhm.
5.
Mhm.
Last year there was you could argue there were 6 plot lines last year. They had to merge the Isildur and Arendor plotline together this season because she up and left.
Yeah. Killed off.
Yeah. So they have to merge that because they don't know what to do with Arendor and Theo.
I think Theo's just a throwaway at this point. Like, he was maybe featured in like 2 episodes, maybe 3 for 5 minutes, and that was it.
And for all those people that are saying, well, he's gonna be in Nazgul, you don't know that. You're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it
It's
sticks.
literally just speculation at this point.
Yeah,
But
nobody has actual evidence,
it
right?
could be a very real possibility with how Amazon is doing things with this show. They'll just make some random shit up. I can't remember if I told you last time, but somebody was theorizing too that Theo might be when Aragorn goes into the mountains to confront those dead warriors, like the undead warriors, people are theorizing that might be Theo, like, growing up,
But nobody knows for
but
sure.
nobody knows. No.
See what the problem is here is they created these characters, right? And
Mhm.
what they're gonna do is these people, and I know they're gonna do this, is they're gonna read what everyone is saying and theorizing, and they're gonna say, you know what, we'll do one of those things. We're gonna make Theo a Nazgul because
Yeah.
hey, everyone's saying it, so we're gonna pretend that we already did this,
Mhm.
right? So that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna do it and say, see, yeah, Theo was gonna be part of this all along. But in fact, Theo and his mom, it was just throwing characters in there to create a separate plot line. They think they're really smart in creating multiple plot lines to show complexity in the show.
Yeah.
It's not working.
No.
When you have terrible writing, complexity goes out the door.
Yeah. And when you don't actually make us care about these characters, it's gone. There's nothing to care about for them. We don't even know who these people are. You don't establish them well.
There's no tie-in.
Mm-mm.
If I'm watching something from the beginning and I see multiple plot lines, I need to know how this is important to the overall story.
Mhm.
You have to give me you don't have to give me the whole picture, You have to give me little crumbs.
Yeah.
Because I need to know why I should be following that storyline more carefully.
And yeah, exactly. You need to know how it affects leading into that end game.
Not the whole
It
shebang, right?
no.
But little hints or thoughts to say, okay, this is why this storyline is important and how it's going to come around and connect with the others.
Right.
We have seen lots of movies and TV shows do this where they have multiple storylines and they come together at the end, right? To give you that, okay,
Yeah.
that moment, right? I don't see that with a lot of this plot. Even though the books are already there and we already know some of the stories, right? And that's the
Right.
problem. That's another problem on its own. We'll get to that in a bit. Is we know the outcomes of some of these people. They're not going to die.
No.
So when they're not going to die, the stakes are not high for me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. So you need to give me something more than, oh, is Galadriel going to get killed here? Like when she's walking in the pits with the cloak and blonde hair sticking out, I don't think she's going to get killed.
And she barely got caught. She barely got noticed, man. She walked through all these orcs who had the ability to sniff out elves.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure she smells lovely because elves do.
Yeah.
Right? They're using elf shampoos, right? So
elf shampoos.
Yeah. Head and shoulders. Elf and shoulders. But it's just like, don't try to tell me that she's in danger and she's gonna get slain. You're not.
Yeah. No, it's not gonna
Right?
happen.
Oh, she's gonna get captured. So what? I know she's gonna escape and never die.
Mm-hmm.
So why you keep telling? How many times does she get captured in this season? She escapes, gets captured. She leaves, she gets captured.
At least 4 times, I think.
Oh my god! I don't care. Stop doing this shit.
And it's worse because being like in the works, we know she's never been a part of the battle. She's more in the book. She gives more advice, sagely advice, and like tactics to be like, this is how we should do things. Yeah, right? Not like in the thick of things. It's just them trying to make it more exciting at the end of the day. It's like, oh, she's in danger. Well, we know she's not in danger, man. Like
we saw her in Fellowship of the Ring. She'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 5 plot lines here, and I want you to pick of the 5. We're gonna go from the least important to the most important. Okay, so I'm gonna give you the 5 plot lines here. Okay, we've got Durin and the dwarves. Okay. We've got Sauron and the elves. We've got Numenor. We got Grand Elf and Harfoots.
I hate that.
And we got Isildur, Arendor, and Theo. Which of the 5 you think is the least important? And we'll start with that.
Literally the last one.
Isildur, Arendor, and Theo. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get into these guys. Let's put up some beautiful pictures for people to see who the heck we're talking about here. I don't have Theo in the background.
It's okay. He doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. It doesn't. Yeah.
There you go. Isildur, Arendor, and Theo. We'll just say she's Theo. She's diverse.
She's diverse.
In this world, in today's world, they're diverse. They can go back and forth. We'll identify her as Theo.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about these 3 jabronis. We know that season 2, was it Bronwyn? She passed away.
Yes.
They killed her off screen because she's like, hey, her agent's like, get out of this stinking ship. Get out right now before your career's coming to an end. She's like, okay. So she bounces. Now I get it. I feel, kind of sympathetic to the writers. They're like, oh shit. Now this character's gone. What do we do now? Right. So obviously to do is to kill her off
screen. Give her an off-screen death.
Here's my problem with that. But here's my problem with that. You go and recast Adar, but you don't recast her. Like I just recast her. She's not a huge character. She's a fake character that you brought into the lore. Nobody gives a shit.
Nope. It's unnecessary.
Find another brunette-looking woman that's similar to her looks, or I don't even care.
They, I mean, clearly she didn't matter. That's why they didn't bother to recast. even if they had a story for her, they probably were planning to kill her off this season at some point.
But what the problem here is, the issue is here is we were told in season 1 to pay attention to this plot line. Her relationship with Arondir and her, right?
Yes.
And now that's all wasted.
It's gone.
That whole speech, stand, together and we'll fight the orcs, all that big battle, which was so bad. But all of that was a complete waste now.
Yeah. I thought going into season 2, we would see them again, and then maybe they would have. I thought they were going to have another, or sorry, not another kid, but I thought they were going to have a kid because they established in this season that Theo is not the Arondir's kid.
I wanted Theo to walk in on them.
What?
Walking in oh, damn! Mommy's getting it out with the black elf, right?
Oh God! Okay,
once you go black elf, you never go back, right? That's what I thought. Like, I honestly thought they're gonna have a relationship because that's what we were led to believe, that they're an item, and they're gonna go through this war together and make babies and be on their merry way, right? And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you know what? Let's just kill her off screen and don't even recast her, even though we could. We just got we have a surplus of money that was given to us, but we won't do that.
Not necessary. Yeah.
But Adar is our dear loving creation that we're definitely gonna have.
Yeah.
Only to find out Adar doesn't go to season 3.
Nope.
Or does he? Maybe he's a symbiote too, just like Sauron.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Man, you know what? That's gonna piss me off in season 3 if he starts showing up again. Oh man,
as a little ghost on the side, just in the shadows, just walking about, playing mind games. I don't know. I like to think we don't. I don't think they established that Adar kind of had that power. It was just he was. I think they tried to establish him as the first, and then every other orc that came after him were like based off of him, is what I'm assuming, or that's what they're implying anyway.
So I actually liked Adar. Like
really,
he was warming up to me.
Interesting.
I know he's a fake character that's not in the lore, which I totally don't like that. But the acting of the and the character, I'm like, if this was just a random fictional story, this character would be pretty cool.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I can agree with that.
He's a dark elf that's been fallen. He's got scars on his face because he's like a reject, right?
Yeah.
And all he wants to do is fit in and help the people that are fellow rejects as well.
Yeah,
right?
He wants to be a hero among his people at home.
Yeah, he wants to be a hero amongst the rejects, right? He wants to like, hey, we need to be respected, or we need to have a place of our own. Whatever. I don't care about that part, but I didn't mind the character. What I didn't like was you just threw it into this lore and you just got rid of it after 2 seasons when you were trying to tell us that this character is very important to the story. It's going to change and make things difficult for Sauron.
Yeah.
Nope, didn't.
Oh my God. You know what you just reminded me of? This plotline reminds me of the storyline of the mutants in the island of Genosha. Like they just want a place of their own.
Yeah. They just want to live on their own.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's where they stole it.
There's babies too, mutant babies bundled up.
Yeah.
And he's Magneto.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude.
But then he got squashed by Apocalypse.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. X-Men stole Fellowship's storyline.
They did. They were like, this seems cool, but we'll make it about mutants, which technically the orcs are. Yeah, but like back to like Theo and Arondir, story is a wash, man. They did like nothing with them.
Well, at the end of this show, they go on their own ways.
They separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
After Theo gets kidnapped by giant trees, and Arondir's like, slave you, and I hug you, and I love you, and even though I'm not your dad, I'll be your adoptive father. And he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay home, man. Like,
you know what?
I've stay with the village.
You know what would have been freaking cool if this guy Arondir goes to Theo. You know what? I'm gonna teach you how to fight because your mom would have wanted you to be a strong warrior with me because your mom was a strong warrior. Let me teach you how to do archery. Let me teach you how to fight." And give him a set of a bow and arrows, and let him learn. Let him be your sidekick. Right?
Ooh, like a little Green
Red
Arrow and
Hood.
Speedy situation.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be again,
right?
But you're stealing plot lines then at that point.
Well, they already done it, so who cares? They already bastardized Fellowship of Tolkien stories.
Yeah,
Why not just take it the next step further, right?
That's fair.
Why not make it interesting so that we can at least stomach this goddamn awful show? Right?
Yep.
Because I get excited when I see sidekicks, pick up the mantle and help their hero out. I love that stuff. I love Robin, right? Like, because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna help Batman. I'm gonna figure it out. And Batman's like, you suck. And he's like, I'll show you, right?
Yeah.
And he does, and once in a while he does show Batman. He saves Batman's ass once in a while.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Batman's been saved by his sidekicks before.
Yeah, he's like,
absolutely.
All right. You brought the shark repellent. I give you that, Robin. Right. So I don't know why they separated the two. They're like, screw it. You go on your own way. I'm going to own my way. And I guess maybe Arondir being with fellow elves. I mean, I say fellow elves loosely because there's no other elf like him there with the fade, right? And there was, and he got killed too because black people have to die first, right?
Yes.
So well, he's the only one now.
Oh,
right?
you talking about the 5 elves that took off? Yeah. I forgot about that.
You forgot about you forget.
I was the one that called that out too.
Yeah. How do you forget?
Oh shit. It's because the show sucked and I wanted to forget so fast.
At least you're honest. All right, so Isildur, let's talk about him. So this guy, because I don't care about Arondir, and he's gonna hang out with
his.
You know what's gonna happen? Arondir's gonna try to hit on Galadriel. That's what's gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That last episode where he was all up in her, like, on her.
Not yet. That's season 3, my friend.
And he was held her hands, like, "Oh, my lady, like, you're okay." Yeah. I'm like, they're gonna make him a love interest now. It's gonna happen. Yeah.
How can Galadriel turn him down? He's got the fade and everything.
He's got that stern, like, heroic
look.
Just
flip out of the wagon every time he fights somebody. Just a swirl when he throws arrows, right?
Yep. Saved her when she was in trouble, like, a couple times.
You know it. Oh shit, Galadriel getting out there, man. She getting busy. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna have what's her name? Arondir. What's her name? Isildur? No, not Isildur. Sorry.
Who? Black elf?
No. Short blonde hair elf.
Oh, Elrond.
Elrond, sorry. You're gonna see Elrond see them kiss, and he's gonna jump off the cliff again.
He's gonna go. Well, shit. No, he's gonna get revenge and date her daughter and be like, "Hey,
they're gonna have a love triangle. That's what's gonna happen." Yeah.
Once the daughter gets involved,
it'll be 2 triangles. So the first triangle will be him, Arondor, and Galadriel. Yeah, and then the next one will be him, Galadriel, and Galadriel's daughter.
Ooh,
things are gonna get complicated.
It's gonna get weird.
Maury Povich will have to show up, right?
Jerry Springer will have to make an appearance.
Rest in peace to Jerry. Jerry,
bring him back from the dead.
Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Nobody dies here.
Nope.
Except they're off screen, then they die. Right?
Exactly.
So, Arondor gets stabbed. He's dead. There's no battle wounds, nothing. We'll see what the story of Arondir is, how it's going to happen. Theo, how the hell knows what's going to happen to him. Arguably the worst plot line of the 5. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah.
And
it's a little sad because, like, Isildur's story.
Well, I'm just going to get to that in a second.
Oh, here. Okay.
Let me build it up for you.
Okay, got it. Go for
it. The 2 of them, Arondor and Theo, I don't care. Clearly useless characters. Whatever. Isildur is not a useless character. He is, in fact, quite the opposite. He's supposedly the most important character in the men.
Yeah.
The race of men.
He's supposed to be. Like, there should be more. I don't know why they're not focusing on it, but there should be more story to him and his buildup and getting to that point. Having him become like a leader slowly, just like his father, before we get to that last battle that's supposed to happen, right? Because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the Lord of the Rings.
People don't realize, or some people probably do, but some people don't. His lineage is eventually going to be Aragon, right?
Yep.
The king of
Gondor.
Gondor. People don't realize that, and when you bring that up, people are like, oh, okay. So this character better be important. This character better get some good screen time. This character better get some good development. And in 2 seasons, all I've seen is this guy just a buffoon.
Yeah.
He's a castaway drifting around aimlessly with no goal, no vision, nothing.
Nothing. Like in the first season, he just wanted to go to the mainland. That was it. And like fight on the mainland. Second season, what did we get? He's barely around.
He's traversing in the mainland.
Like he doesn't even know what to do. He finds some random chick
who stabs him.
Yep. And he tries to save her, falls in love with her, and like that's it. That's his entire freaking story so far. There's nothing more to it. He feels like, for a character that's so important, Amazon has made him feel so useless in this show. Like he's a nobody.
He's also a homewrecker. He knows it.
He's also a homewrecker. Hey, that's not his fault. Okay,
it is his fault. Dude knows. Dude knows she's married.
He did not know.
This guy's a homewrecker.
He didn't know.
Someone needs to cut his hands off. If you know what I just said.
Oh man,
this is a homewrecker. Goes makes out with this girl, even though he knows. And I feel it's so funny how they have the husband standing between them. It's so on the nose how terrible they're trying to make this.
And her husband's a big dude. He could beat the shit out of.
Oh, dude, he'll one punch this guy. One punch this guy. This guy be sleeping forever.
Yeah. Oh, out. What happened in the last battle? Oh, Isildur died before then because he made some chick cheat on him.
I woke up and Lord of the Rings started happening. Frodo, what are you doing here?
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. And now he's gonna be on a ship and he's gonna make his way to where?
Back to Numenor. Only to find out his father is gone. His sister's like whatever. The whole faith is like destroyed. Like he's going back. I don't even know why he decided to go.
You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna get intercepted by his father.
You think so?
Yeah. He's not gonna make it all the way there. If they have any ounce of a brain, they would intercept him. What's he gonna do in Numenor? Get everybody on his side?
It's not going to happen, especially with like how they treated his father. He's the son of his father. Like, why wouldn't they take action against him?
Why wouldn't they just stab him and be done with?
Well, he'll get stabbed eventually.
The father has to intercept this guy somehow.
Third season, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we'll see that happen until like maybe the fourth season. There'll be a convergence eventually. I think that's what we'll see.
I just don't care about this character, and I don't care about these two other guys.
And it's sad that you don't care about this character.
Yeah, I know.
Because they don't make you care about him.
Because they make him so pathetic. And if this is their idea of like, hey, we're going to make him look like a bum for the first 2 seasons, and then we're going to gradually elevate him. No, you can't do that. You got to give this guy something in the beginning for me to be invested in this character, to want to see this plot line continue.
He's definitely more of a soy boy for these 2 seasons, man.
You merged 2 plot lines and I still don't care. Right?
Seriously, yeah.
Like, you merged 2 plot lines. You added another character into the mix and I still don't care.
No,
so number 5 is this one, right?
The
utter
shitty
trash.
One.
Utter trash. All right, I'm going to tell you the other 4, and then you pick your number 4 out of them, okay?
Yeah.
So you got Durin the dwarves, you got Sauron and the elves, you have Numenor and Grand Elf and Harfoots. Which is number 4 to you?
I would say that for me, okay, so it's a little tough because I'm trying to decide. It's definitely between either
Gotta pick one. 5 seconds.
God damn it.
4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Gotta pick it now.
Grand Elf and the Harfoots.
Grand Elf and the Harfoots. Okay, so this was number 3 for me, but I'm okay with 4 because it's trash anyways. Who cares? Grand Elf and Harfoots. And if people are wondering why we're calling it Grand Elf, because they decided to give him the name Grand Elf, and then Epiphany happened. They're like, he's like, wait, my name is Gandalf.
And if you're wondering where they decided to call him this, it was literally the last 5 minutes of the last goddamn episode.
It was the second last scene.
Yeah. It was. I lost my mind. I was like, there's no way they're calling him this going forward because they don't have the rights to the name. Like season 3 is, if all I hear is his Grand Elf, it's you, I'm gonna just shit myself. Like, it's not okay. It's not okay, man. Like, just keep calling him the Stranger at that point. Don't give him some dumb, stupid name that you just thought up out of the. Oh, I'm being playful with. Shut up! You're not being playful with anything.
I'll give him one thing though. I really thought they didn't have the rights to call him Gandalf. So something happened. Either they were very smart. They're not smart. They were trying to be very coy with it, or they blowed up the Brinks truck to Tolkien the States. Like, can we just call him Gandalf now, please?
Yeah,
we'll give you another few $1 million.
I feel like they had to throw more money at it, man.
Because season 1 they were getting shit on, right?
Yep.
Everyone's like, he's Gandalf, and you can't even call him Gandalf. What kind of show is this?
Yep.
Right?
And they were trying to be like so coy with it. Oh, maybe he's not Gandalf. He's somebody else. Nah, you guys are really dumb. Like, everybody knows this dude is Gandalf, man. Like, he's had interaction with hobbits before. I don't think
they're not hobbits. So they're gonna maybe they'll call them hobbits maybe when they get back there.
Maybe, yeah.
Which I'm gonna get to in a second. So let's dissect this plot line here. So we have Grand Elf. This is a blatant ripoff of Frodo, Sam, and Gandalf's journey.
Yes,
it's a blatant ripoff.
Yeah,
they wanted to gender swap it into females.
Yeah,
and so here's the thing: Nori, she left the Harfoot's place or with her people because she wanted to see what else is out there in the universe.
She felt like she was destined for more, is what it was.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nobody seems to understand that.
No.
Everyone forgot in season 1 why she left. Everyone thought she left because she wanted to help him out. No. She wanted to go out there because she wanted to see this other part of the world, and she felt that she had an important job to do, which is such a cop-out of what Frodo. But Frodo had
it's narcissism. It's narcissism at its finest, where you feel like, I feel like I shouldn't be here. I feel like I should be doing something more. And then the Stranger comes about, and then it gives her even more of her. She's like, I feel like I'm destined to help this person. This is why he came here. This is why we found him. This is my it's like, shut up. You're not special, man. You're not. Yeah. You're just another creature that's just a little different. That's it.
It's such a blatant ripoff. Frodo had a purpose. He didn't want to go out and leave the Shire. He had to go leave the Shire because danger was going to
forced to actually
because danger was going to come to them if they didn't leave.
Yeah, he didn't want that responsibility
because the writers were going looking for them.
Yeah. So and in his mind, he thought, okay, like, I guess we can just get to Rivendell and I can leave it and go back home and live my life. That's not what happened. No,
the journey was done on purpose. Here, she and her poppy friend said, you know what? We need to go out there and enjoy life. And they were so selfish. You're right. Narcissism is there. And so they have this journey, this made up nonsense journey.
He could have went by himself. He didn't need them.
Dude should have went by himself because I'd be more interested.
There'd be more danger for him because he doesn't know where he's at, who he is. He's just going off on a whim.
The biggest problem with this is the average fan doesn't know anything as to why this character and the storyline is important.
Yeah.
There's no connectivity. The only time we see connectivity with this is when everybody sees a meteor go down and
Mhm.
it's Gandalf coming crashing down on Earth. That's the
Mhm.
only time we know that everything's connected world-wise.
Yeah.
There should be no reason to have Harfoots in this show at all.
Mhm.
They don't have any importance.
They're not even mentioned at all.
They don't exist. Harfoots
No.
don't exist.
No.
So there should have just been Gandalf finding, and we should get flashbacks through his head because he has amnesia, right? Whatever. That's
Yeah.
that's another stupid thing, but there has amnesia, and we can, as a viewers, we could see, okay, he's important because he's seeing Sauron in his mind. He's seeing the rings. Like every episode, you can do a little bit of a flashback, and he's in pain and needs to figure out to get to this location because he sees danger coming. He sees, problems coming to middle of. Sprinkle in these things. When I said in the beginning, like you need to see a little bit of, little crumbs here and there
Mhm.
to be invested in that storyline you're gonna shove down our throats here,
Yeah.
right? So we don't get much of that. We get him aimlessly walking around. We get him to see some trees and fix some trees, create a tornado and throw his friends 100 feet in the air, only to land on rocks and just totally fine, right?
Okay, so I will say with a couple of those things, like the tornado was kind of cool. I was like, okay, you got some power, Mr. Gandalf, unknown wizard guy. I was like, this is cool. So people are gonna die, and like your friends just got tossed up in that tornado too. Like,
They're
well,
dead,
you probably killed your friends, dude. Like
100
that's
feet in the
more
air.
likely what happened. Yep, any other person would have died, especially being that small. You're gonna get flattened. Like
Well,
it's
look at where they woke up, in a bed of rocks.
yeah, completely unharmed.
They didn't wake up in bush or water
No,
or sand. They woke up in rocks.
yeah,
Your head should have been cracked open.
and they were untouched.
Yeah.
They looked cleaner than when they left there. It looked like they got a bath
The
while in
wind
that
got rid of all
tornado.
the dirt out of their hair, okay? And not an acorn was out of place.
No,
By the way,
yeah,
that's such a stupid design, isn't it?
yeah.
Who wants
They
who wants acorns and garbage on their hair?
if you want a snack later, bro, that's how you do it. Like,
What, staled acorn?
yeah,
Ugh.
dude, just roast it over a fire.
Ugh.
You good to
It's
go.
got sweat stains on it. Ugh.
Hey man, once you cook it in fire, it's all clean. It's all good.
It pops into Orville popcorn. Yeah, so okay, so we follow this journey where they are traveling in the desert. They meet these random people. We have that
Mhm.
bad elf, or sorry, bad wizard
Yep. The
who looks
dark
like
wizard.
Saruman. Could they
Little
not
bit.
find any? Could they not find anyone that looks different?
You know that's interesting that you say that. I thought they would have done something a little bit different, but they gave Saruman vibes. Like if you remember the movies, like Gandalf's got his distinction. He likes to speak in riddles while also having fun, and he gets serious at times. Saruman was just like serious all the time and was just like waiting for things to happen, while being ready for things to happen. Then you have Radagast, who's just a weird dude. Radagast the Brown. He's crazy, but he loves animals. He doesn't care for people. He cares about nature. For the blue, well, we know he's a blue wizard now. What's the distinction? That he's a dick? Saruman was a dick. I'm like, what's the difference between these two? They can't all
Nothing.
be dicks, man. Like, figure something out. At least make him more evil or like, I don't know, manipulative in a sense. Like, you did nothing with this dude that was any different from what was done in the movies already.
I should put the picture up. There we go. I covered Nori on purpose.
Good.
I should have covered Poppy. I should have covered Poppy as well. Damn it.
I don't know. I think I like Poppy more than Nori at this point.
She knows how to handle a snake. Ah! A one-eyed snake.
Hey man, she got the brown dude.
I told you she knows how to handle a snake. Oh man, that's another terrible like story. Like they go to this village in the middle of a desert. By the way, another tiny studio city that we're told to like they're carved in a cave. They totally try to write the script of the Shire.
Yep.
Making these guys are the ones that are gonna be creating the Shire. Like, come on, get out of here.
I guarantee they're probably gonna be the Tooks or some shit like that, man. Or no, sorry, they're gonna be the Samwise. like clan, the
Yeah, they said,
Ganges.
yeah,
That's what's gonna happen. Oh my god.
because at the end of the show,
Oh.
they go back to the Shire.
Yeah,
Well, not the Shire. They're gonna go back and create the Shire.
the Shire. Yeah,
So
because like,
the whole arc of Nori is completely dog shit.
yep.
She said, "I'm
Especially
gonna
now that
go out."
she's going back, I really hope we don't see her again. She
Oh no,
added
you will.
nothing.
You will, because you're gonna see them construct that whole place.
Mm.
That's what you're gonna get. I'm telling you right now. You're gonna see them build the Shire. And we're gonna call this the Shire. In season 4, that's what's gonna happen. Or at the end of season 3 or the beginning of season 4, they're gonna say the Shire.
Ugh.
Book it.
Ugh.
That's what's gonna happen.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
First. Yep.
And
yeah. I mean, you know what? It is what it is. Because at some point, the
Harfoot,
Shire...
Harfoot, Akash, and Poppy have kids, and
Yep.
they're gonna be the first descendants of the Shire.
Right. You know, if they do that, it is what it is. Because like at some point, we do know that the Shire needs to be made, and it's gonna have to happen. We're probably not gonna like how it's gonna be made.
But you can't retcon. Okay.
I mean, maybe it depends on how they do it. If they do it right, sure. I don't know. I don't know, man.
But then what was the point of Nori coming out here then? Like, what was her purpose? Only to come here into the desert and then go back to where she came from?
Right. You know, that's a good question, because like when
She
we
didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah. No, she didn't. Gandalf pretty much found it on his own. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, she did not accomplish anything. Gandalf got his thing done. So what was the point of...
kind of near the end when she was like, hey, like, I'm deciding to go back because there's nothing I can really do for you? Like, didn't she say that at the end?
But it wasn't even about... The whole purpose of her leaving wasn't about just Gandalf. It was about her finding her way out there. Her purpose. Right. What was her purpose? To send these people back to where she came from? They left that place that they built.
Go back home.
Yeah, let's go back to the shithole that I left. Right?
They don't even have a shithole to go back to.
That's what I'm saying. They left the shithole because it was a shithole. Now she's gonna take them right back to where they came from.
They don't.
So what was her purpose?
To gather all the halflings
and
to be one people.
These people are even more stupid than these guys. They don't even know how to comb a hair.
They should never have left. I don't get how they just... Well, their home got destroyed, but they've been there and they've built their home. Like, why wouldn't you just stay to rebuild your home?
What is the reason for them to leave? Oh, it's because the big bad guys are there, maybe? The metal guys, you know, the helmet guys that are in the heat wearing metal helmets.
They got owned by the Dark Wizard. The Dark Wizard pretty much roasted them.
Oh no, you know what? The Dark Wizard also dropped all those rocks and destroyed the place.
True, but I mean, the leader of the stores were like, she even said, like, people have died here, but we made this our home. It's not like a place where we just come back, like we just hang out at. This is what we consider our home. We made this our home. And then they just easily up and left it because a few rocks like screwed up their home. Like,
but that's the whole story of Rings of Power writing. They write strong lines only to just contradict it right after. This is for all the plot lines. You see it everywhere. It's littered everywhere where they create a stance for these characters.
Right.
And then just go back on it literally the next scene or the next episode. It happens, and we're probably going to run into a bunch of them as we go through this. This happens quite often in the show, and that's what also drives people nuts. You literally said this, and you're doing quite the opposite again right there.
Right.
How many times? I think I've said that when we reviewed our episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You just said this is gonna what we're gonna do, and then you do quite the opposite.
Exact opposite. Yeah,
it's littered everywhere in this show, right? So why stop now? Just continue with it, and that's what's happening here with the Harfoots. They should never been in the show. I don't care for any of these two characters or their family. I mean, remember season 1 where they were chanting "No Harfoot left behind." They were chanting. The minute one of them got stuck, they're like, "See ya, bitch."
That's so true. Like,
they're savages.
Yeah, like the dad got hurt, and they're like,
They're like, see
"Yeah,
ya.
we're gonna
We's
peace
out.
out. You guys figure it out. Maybe
Yeah.
catch up if you can."
Don't
Yeah,
care if these wolves eat you. We don't care. Remember those
yeah.
giant wolves
Mm-hmm.
or whatever they
Mm-hmm.
were? Don't care. See you later, bitches. We out. But you sang that song. We sang that song not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they really tried to make in the beginning of the second season, Nori and whatever her name is, the other one, they tried to make them feel important, only to kind of abandon them within that latter half and just be like, nope, actually, it's more his story, not their story. They don't really matter that much. Thank you for realizing that halfway through. Like they don't care, they don't matter. They're not
I
significant.
I was totally fine with Gandalf going by himself somewhere
Hmm.
because we get introduced to another very cool character in Tom Bombadil,
Yeah.
who wears
Which
mascara for some reason.
it's to make him
I
stand out.
I thought this was cool because he is a character that never was flushed out in
Mhm.
Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, this is true. I now I gotta look into this a little bit more, but to my understanding, Tolkien left it that way on purpose. I'll have to do more. I'll do more digging on that. But from what I've read, he left it on purpose because he wanted some anonymity with Tom. Like he
Yeah.
was just supposed to be that mysterious character in the in between that didn't care about good or evil. He just wanted to observe and live his life.
What when I went to say it was for Lord of the Rings, I meant the actual movies. He was left out in there. They
Mhm.
could have put him in there, but they didn't.
They
So
yeah, that's very
so
true
to
because
see
in the
him on
books, he's
screen
in
is
there.
a big deal for a lot of people because it's the first time they see him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
This story would have been even greater if the Harfoots were not involved because he would not be in a rush to leave and find his friends.
right.
Gandalf
You
could have more
more
interactions
dialogue
with
with him. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we get we get less of Tom and we get more of Harfoots. I do
yeah,
not care about Harfoots. I want to see more interactions because how awesome is to see Gandalf and him maybe figuring out magic, figuring out ideas, thoughts. Like it's so cool because they're so important in terms of wizard levels. They're the top
yeah.
dogs here,
It would have been even cool to see them talk about where they came from and their past a little bit.
right?
Yeah, that would have been wonderful to see. I mean, I know, like, I think it would. The only thing I think I wouldn't want to see is like them give Tom more like more of a past because he doesn't really have one, and if they just made up their own shit, I feel like it would piss a lot of people off. Like you should keep him as this mysterious, enigmatic character that just kind of goes and travels and lives without having outside influences influence him directly. But what they ended up doing with this character was they made him worried about the future of Middle Earth when he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
His plot,
he should have said, "I'm just gonna chill, relax, have my cup of tea, no
yeah,
pressure, no stress, no
yeah,
pressure,
play with his baby goat,
make some lamb stew." Right?
Yes,
Delicious.
yes.
So, El. By the way, Grand Elf. He's not an elf
Yeah, I don't know where they got that from because especially in like season 1, they just called him the giant man.
or stranger
Yeah, the
or what's
giant
that other one? Isa.
uh I can't remember
You
what
know
they
what I'm talking
called him.
about?
Yeah.
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 It's just so stupid how they just call it. Why? Because he's tall, so he's an elf.
Yeah. It's like they haven't seen men before.
Well, we know Poppy hasn't. Um,
Oh,
but
that's her name, Poppy,
but
right.
Akash is here. Yeah.
They know where the
So,
Browns at.
dude, when I saw him, I'm like, what the heck? Like, what is that?
Yeah. Hey man, that dude's just trying to get his paper, He was like, "Yeah, I'll take that role. That's cool. I'll play the
Kudos to
idiot."
him. Kudos to
Yeah.
him. He's not going to be able to take care of his entire family in Calcutta. So,
He's going to live like a king over there now.
oh,
Watch.
you know it.
Yeah.
You know it. He's gonna get fresh roti made for him every day.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Bring me
Yeah.
the dal. Bring me the dal.
Where's my sog? Just bring it.
Fresh
Oh god.
pakora, everybody.
Good lord.
So yeah, this is the rank 4th in terms of plot for you, right?
Yes. You
Okay.
got it at your number 3 spot though, right?
I've got him at my number 3
Okay.
spot.
Okay.
I want to
Cool.
see. Did I tell you what my number 4 spot was?
No.
Okay, so now you get to pick between the 3 left here: the Durin and the Dwarves, Sauron the Elves, and Numenor. So which one is your 3 spot? And then I'll tell you which of these is my 3 spot after.
I would say Numenor is my 3rd spot.
Bingo, that's my number 4th spot.
Yeah.
I it's tough because I don't like either one of them, but I have to pick, right? So the reason why I picked Numenor as my number 4 spot is they're so far away from everything. They're the furthest things away.
They are
from
super disconnected. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they have zero bearing right now on
Mhm.
anything that's happening in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Right? That to me, I just like you could have just maybe not even talked about Numenor. Just don't even talk about Numenor. Bring him in later. There's no need to bring him in now.
Not this soon, no.
Like season 3, fine. You want to do season 3? Sprinkle Numenor. Nothing that's happening over there means anything to the whole overall story.
At this point, no. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to set
The
up
grand scale.
Yeah, like they're clearly trying to set up how Numenor came to its downfall, right? Like by implementing all these little political like sides of like the people of the faith, the people that are not of the faith, like get rid of the old, in with the new kind of stuff. So they're trying to topple this empire. Like it's basically the Roman Empire at this point. They're trying to establish that sabotage that's going to come in and take them out, and guaranteed it's not just going to be within themselves. There's going to be some sort of outside force like the wild men or whatever that are going to come in and wipe their asses off the floor. You know, that I feel like that's what they're going to end up doing with this.
So so Numenor, we've got this too. I really thought they're gonna make out. Like I swear to God, like I was
Dude,
like,
they had some spicy chemistry going
and I don't
on.
mean this in a sarcastic way. I really thought they're gonna be an item.
Yeah,
because they went through shit
together.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is this show afraid to have people become an item? I don't understand that.
Oh, I don't think they are. I think they want, like, I mean, you got Elrond, Galadriel.
They try to prod you, go, thirst trap there. But no, we're not doing it.
Okay, actually, I just kind of figured they try to force relationships that aren't there, and then the ones that do have a natural chemistry, they don't want it to happen at all. It's like you're just doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
100% you're doing yourself a
like
disservice.
These two becoming an item, no one will say anything.
No, not at all. No, in fact, to me, it makes sense. They're that close. I mean, yes, he's like duty bound, but I think there's more to it than that. And I feel like that on her side as well.
But if they're an item and he leaves, that makes it even more compelling.
That would make it a much more interesting story, because she's like, look, I'm the queen. I have to stay, even though you and I are together. You got to go out and like figure shit out for our people and like just leave us behind. Numenor will be better off if you're gone and helping from the outside, and I'm doing my thing here on the inside.
Or he can also do is get a body double and she won't know she's blind. And he bounces.
It's like, I don't need this shit no more.
It's a backup plan if they become an item and she goes crazy, all back crazy. And he's like tippy toes out and tells this other guy, hey, you're gonna pretend you're me. Have my voice, grow long hair, wear that cheesy fake cloth armor. Look at how bad this thing looks.
I feel like it's supposed to be some sort of chainmail, but it's like, it's disgusting.
Dude, it's so bad. The armor and the choice of clothing is so bad. Whoever is in charge of the cast of clothing is just terrible. Wardrobe person should get fired.
It's weird. I figured there'd be more like fitted clothing, but it's all very baggy. And
of course, because none of them have to go work out. Numenorians are strong warriors. They're 6'3", 6'5", 6'7", something like that. and they're strong warriors. And there's no way she could resist him if he was.
It's like
She might even get her eyesight back.
Just I can see you now.
Yeah. Wow. It's a miracle I can see.
Oh God. Yeah.
But
yeah,
again, should have made this to an item because that scene, horrible scene where she's underwater and she gets spit back up. She should have been dead. Her head should have cracked on the rock. Do people when they fall not get hurt in this show?
No, they're immortal. They're they're built different, man.
She literally got spit right out. She wasn't like put on the rock by those creatures' hands or tentacles. She just got catapulted like a rocket out of water and landed. And she's like, "I'm good." Just had a little chiropractic.
Oh, see, the Queen of the Sea has returned. Shut up.
The sea is always right.
Always. And Farazan was not happy about that. He was pretty pissed that he got spat back out.
I will say the highlight of this whole our plot line is that annoying son.
Oh yeah, Keenan, whatever his name is.
Yeah, if you search that up.
Yeah.
I think that he was the best part of the plot line because he was so bad at acting and he was so bad as a character. You just hate this character so much. And you're like, dude, whatever you're doing, it sucks, but it works for somehow.
It made you feel invested with that dude. So he did a good job. I would say he did a good job overall.
He had a very punchable face.
Yes. And just like the looks he'd make on his face, like
that was good. That was good.
You.
So you asked me, like, what are some of the good points of the show? That was it right there. A very punchable face character. I loved it. I was like, I hate you. And then I'm like, oh, you're doing your job. Because I hate you. You're great. Keep it up. Yep. I want to punch you in the face. Keep it up. Oh man. So yeah, okay. I don't mind that character hanging around for a bit.
The daughter.
See, I don't like this. Last season, apparently she was wearing really tight outfit, and people started talking about her assets. And so this year they decided to dress her down.
Interesting. I gotta. I don't want to go back on.
I remember people on X or Twitter at that time just going nuts about how beautiful she was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, just like, hey, we gotta shut that down. We can't talk about women in beauty anymore. We gotta shut it down. We gotta give her like drapes and make sure she doesn't have anything of value showing at all. Nothing. No.
Can't be ladylike.
No. I don't like her character. Again, another character we don't need in this show.
Well, she flip-flopped so hard, man. Like,
yeah, it's stupid.
First season, she was all with it and just
she's bipolar.
Yeah, and then second season, the minute they gave her a little ounce of power, she's like, off to the damn jail cell with you.
Your head, Dad.
Yeah, like Queen of Hearts kind of shit, man.
And then two episodes later, she's running to her dad and crying.
Daddy, I'm sorry. He made a mistake. I'm like, oh, God. I didn't know this was going to... Really? You didn't think overthrowing royalty was going to bite you in the ass later down the road? You don't think there are people going to rebel and try to fight back? Are you that dumb? Do you not know anything about history and kingdoms when shit like that happens?
Tell me how you really feel, Sheldon.
Show's so irresponsible. I've said this before, but they just are, man.
This is why I had it number 4 because I hated so much this plot line. It was so bad. There's nothing. But Numenorians, yeah, you love them, you hate them. Don't care. They don't do anything to the overall story. I just think that they should not have done this part right now.
Yeah,
they should have focused on the next 3 we'll talk about here, which you get to pick now. There's 2 plot lines left. You've done 3.
I literally think the order that you presented them in is literally my order.
Really?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, between Numenor and the
Grandel.
Yeah, I
was a toss up, right?
Yeah, for me that was a toss up. It was like 3 and 4, 4 and 3. Like they could have gone
like which turd had more flies on
it. Yeah, essentially.
Right? Yeah,
essentially.
Okay. One had 7, one had 8.
Right? Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So like
Okay.
going forward, like my next one literally would be the
So here you have a choice here: Durin and the dwarves,
yeah.
and then you have Sauron and the elves. Which one is your number 2 plot line?
It would be Sauron and the elves number 2. Yeah. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay. I have it
yeah.
flip flopped.
Oh, interesting.
I have it
Okay,
the other way around. Okay,
interesting.
Sauron and the elves.
So
Let's.
I'll tell you why.
This is the big one to unpack here. This
Yeah,
is the
with everything that's kind of happened, like for me, it was kind of a slow burn. You know, I felt like it took too long for the manipulation to start happening, which is kind of backwards. Because I mean, Sauron's a master manipulator. He should be like, you know, getting things going right away. I just felt like it took them too long to get to that point. I think we got to like episode 4 or 5, and then it really started turning because you saw Celebrimbor really start to go crazy and really believe in him. And he's like, yeah, you got it. I'll handle these things. Go from there. The loving look that he gives him, it's like,
it's literally right there.
I love you. You're like my best friend, but maybe we can be a little bit more than that together.
Best part of waking up
is you right next to me. Like, come on.
Not Folgers in your hand.
Oh God. It
he really liked his hammer.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was mad when the hammer went missing.
Yeah.
So
it just this whole storyline, like I know this is how it like it's supposed to kind of go down like this, but the elves that have worked with Celebrimbor for so long just up and decided to be like, yep, no, hey Anatar, you're right. Celebrimbor is kind of crazy. We should not follow him. You're gonna listen to some new dude that came out of nowhere. Even sure, he says he was sent by the Valar, but you've got no goddamn proof that he was. You're just taking his damn word for it. And you're going to just abandon Celebrimbor, the man who made the Silmarils to like guide back the light and the moon. Like that meant nothing. That meant nothing. He even made the freaking rings for the elves and brought the elves back from the brink of extinction. And you're just going to up and abandon him.
You see, I can tell you're angry because your screen keeps shaking because you banged.
So, yeah, I am like I am pounding my table right now. Yeah.
You're pissed. It's like there's a giant earthquake happening behind you.
Yeah, sorry.
You're just like, I don't care. I can think of a point.
There's emotion coming out right now.
Numenor is sinking, damn it.
Call me Iluvatar. I'll swallow Numenor up, dude.
I wonder if you got the Numenor story by ripping off Atlantis.
It kind of feels like that, right?
Yeah.
It kind of feels like an Atlantis
civilization.
Vibe. Yeah. Right? Kind of exiled away from the rest of civilization, and like they're not close to the gods, but they kind of are revered pretty close to being gods, you know? Yeah. Yeah.
So Sauron, Hellbrand, by the way, just gets a hair extension, and everyone's like, "Who's this guy?
Yeah,
who's this guy? I don't know who this guy is."
He's like, "I'm Anatar. I'm a new guy." I'm like, "You look exactly the same."
Anatar did. Anatar did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes.
Anyways, Anatar did. Stands outside the gates. From standing outside the gates to a few episodes later, becomes in charge of the entire city.
Mm-hmm. Even after being told,
that's
like,
crazy.
You guys should have no interaction with this person. Don't deal with him. What do? They go and have interactions with him. They bring this dude in. Like, why would you not send a letter out to be like, hey, this dude is here. What do we do? Do we bring him in? I know you told us not to, but he's like hurt, blah, blah, blah. Should we just have him in and take care of him?
Wish.com Galadriel undermined Celebrimbor and went and got him and had conversations with him. Yeah. Undermined this guy who's in charge.
Right.
She should have been hung. I mean, no wonder he slapped the you-know-what out of her over the top. Mm-hmm. That wasn't even Sauron. That was him just saying, you undermined me. Off you go. Right?
Yep. Yeah. So at that point, there's already dissent, which is really odd. Really odd that they're just like his people aren't listening to him from the get-go. He told them not to, and you're absolutely right. They just decided not to.
It would have been cool if Sauron showed that he manipulated them.
Yes, that would have made more sense at that point.
If I would have bought in there, I would have like, this guy made them undermine this guy from the beginning. He's already crafting it.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. You just made me remember something from one of the episodes early in when she was there. Didn't he like turn around and show that he had like big ass gashes in his back, and she saw that and she went to go report it to Celebrimbor?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Remember, I'm
I'm
trying
not.
not to remember this show.
If you making me remember, I'll make you remember, man.
Okay, so, but if there's one thing to say as, hey, this was happening all along, you guys didn't know it. No. As a show, you need to make
In that
us
moment.
be aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just say that, oh, you guys should have known that he was manipulating them all along from the beginning. That's a cop out. That you're trying to just bullshit your way through here.
Right.
As a viewer, I need to know from day one that he is starting his game right away.
Yeah.
That he's crafting everybody around him.
Kind of like how he did it when he started manipulating the outside so Celebrimbor can see peace and people are doing their things rather than it being destroyed by the damn orcs. I follow what you're saying. I get
Right?
what you're saying.
I
Yeah.
need to know. Okay, that's why she undermined him. That's why they all undermining him and saying, nope,
Mhm.
bring him in. Right?
Right.
And Celebrimbor could have been like, what the F is going on here?
Yeah.
Right? But we as fans were like, not fans, sorry, you as viewers, I would never call myself a fan of the show. I'm sorry. You as viewers go, okay, we know why this is happening. We get an understanding. Again, this is about writing a good story, being clever writers, and they
Right.
do not have clever writers. They have
No.
average writers at best. At
Mhm.
best. So one of the things I have an issue with Sauron is he's too powerful. He's way too powerful. Why does he need a goddamn set of rings? This guy can do it all. He can manipulate people, use the Jedi mind tricks and force. Why do we need rings, bro? He was
I mean,
surrounded, mind you, by a elf group. 5 elite elf warriors surrounded him.
mhm.
And what did he do? He went boom, like then they all stabbed each other.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the first season. Like he wanted the elves, right? Like that was his goal. Is he wanted control of the elves to bring about his plans. But that didn't work out in his favor because Galadriel found out who he was and chased him off realistically. And then they made the rings without him knowing, or did he know? I can't remember now if he did know about the rings being made. I I think he had an idea that that's what they wanted to do, but I don't think he knew until season 2, and they were like, "Yep, it did," which is crazy because he's not supposed to know that. The rings were supposed to have been made in secret, and he was not supposed to be aware that they were being made. So he opted out for, I think, what he thinks are lesser beings, which were the dwarves and the men, to fulfill his mission.
Yeah, man. Do we talk about Adar here now?
I
What his
think
importance?
I think I mean,
Okay,
it kind of plays into it.
I'll be back here. I want you just basically to the audience here, give your
Mhm.
take on how Adar and Sauron are pitted against each other, and how did you see it end the way it was ended? Right?
No. Yeah.
Okay, elaborate
I
on that. I'll be that.
I will talk about that. Yeah. So near the end, we get. I mean, we know that they're being pitted against each other. Like Adar didn't want Sauron to like use his orcs for vile means. He wanted him and his orcs to kind of live in peace and be off to the side so they can have their own little plot of land and do their own thing. They just wanted to be left alone. Sauron didn't want that. He wanted the entire world, and he saw that through the means of having the orcs go off and do his bidding. Adar ends up betraying him, ends up killing Sauron, or at least he thinks so. And he goes on thinking Sauron is dead at this point. It's not a thing. Sauron does end up coming back as Halbrand, gets into Mordor after, says he's Halbrand and he knows that Sauron is a part of the mix and that they should team up and go against one another. So it becomes this whole big thing of Adar trying to find allies to go against Sauron, to invade Eregion, to take out Sauron once and for all and finish him, right? The way they ended this was quite sad. I thought Adar should have had a better ending. It ended up with him being betrayed by the orcs that he loved. He pretty much got like Judased at that point. Because he thought they were coming back. He saw his orc son being hurt. He was very sad about it and wanted to help him, only for him to be stabbed by the lot of them. And just in the most vile way. In the most vile way. Like the orcs even knew that Sauron wanted to use them for a very vile mean, yet they still went along with it. They still went along with Sauron because of what? We don't even get an explanation. We don't even understand why the orcs decided to go with Sauron. Just that in my head, it's like, oh, Sauron is really powerful, probably stronger than Eldar. We should follow him, which doesn't make sense because they wanted their own freedom. They wanted what Adar wanted. They wanted freedom for themselves and to be left alone. They didn't want to be hunted.
He saved so many of their lives.
Yeah.
And then
they just end up betraying
some random person just says, hey, follow me, I'll lead. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, well, even from like the beginning of the season, when we see Sauron trying to get crowned to be the new leader, you can see the orcs kind of like, it's not really what we want. And so our Adar takes it upon himself to end up ending Sauron. And they're like, we're now free, you guys. I will lead us into a better life and go from there. And the orcs are all happy about this shit.
Yeah.
And so just because they go into battle, and I think what happens is as they go into battle, especially that one dude with the family, that one orc with the family, he's starting to like kind of question Adar's like motives and like why we're going to battle. We should just retreat. Our brethren are dying. I'm like, do you not know the cost of war, son? Like, do you not know that there's a bigger evil out there that he wants to take out so you guys can be free? It's going to take some sacrifices to do that.
Yeah.
But people are dying. Like, okay. That's the cost of war, though, my man. Like, you've seen it happen before. I don't understand what you're so surprised about. And if you want to get rid of this greater evil so you can live a more comfortable life, this is what you got to do. But you ended up taking his side. You actually ended up dying by his hand because you failed like a loser. And now what? Now your little poor orc family is going to suffer because of that.
Yeah. Bad decisions.
Yeah.
So I had a meeting.
Can we... This is a business meeting. We need to discuss the
So let's talk about that famous meeting where people lock lips with their mother-in-law.
I threw up a little. I was so disappointed in that scene. Whew. It was I'm like, this man just kissed his mother-in-law. You know what? Actually, you know what? To be fair, I'm sure that happens in real life a lot too. Like, you got a hot mom-in-law? Let's go.
Okay. That's another show. Another podcast. Here's the thing. There's people all the time. Like we had somebody in the comments, I think last episode in our comments. And by the way, we encourage people to give their comments and opinions. We love to hear from you guys. I'm not trying to poo-poo on this person, but the person said, I like the show. That's all they said in the comments. Something like that. I like the show. Or I enjoyed the show or something like that. Okay, you enjoy the show. What did you enjoy about it? I feel like sometimes people just say that just because they want to be opposites of what everybody else is thinking. I just want to know from those people out there, and maybe throw in the comments a couple of points of why you like the show, right? We've painstakingly on several occasions gave valid reasons as to why the show is not good. We're doing a recap here, and all we're talking about is all the terrible things they've done. Right? We've sprinkled in a couple of good things here and there, but this show is inherently bad in so many ways.
Yeah.
For the price tag it's been asked.
Yeah. Like, okay, I will say, like, coming near the end of this story arc for Sauron and Celebrimbor, it got better, but that's not saying much when it was kind of hot dog shit to begin with. They eventually got more intense with each other. Celebrimbor's the dude who plays Celebrimbor, his acting got better because he started to, you could see him start to go crazy, and he's like
losing
marking, putting Sharpie marks on candles and like watching Stuart Little run by the freaking floor the whole time. You know, he's like, I've seen this before. I've seen this movie. Like, this has been
And
a thing.
no offense to the actor, but when I hear Celebrimbor and I look at the illustrations of Celebrimbor, how a lot of people depict that character to be tall, this guy is shorter than everybody else.
They could have given him some platform shoes for sure.
I don't care. Like, just throw some height. Why is Galadriel also tiny as well? Elves are not short.
Yeah. They
There
could
are
have
three
CG.
things. There are three things about an elf that I know it's an elf: ear, hair, and tall.
Yeah. They could have easily CGI'd that stuff too.
Well,
They
they
did
did
it with the
Frodo,
Hobbits.
and yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah.
If you can make somebody smaller, I'm sure you can make somebody taller.
Yeah, and they did it with the dwarves. They 100% could have done that. Everybody could have been the same height. They could have had the same hair. Well, maybe
I
not
can
the same
understand
hair,
if they're kids. That's different. They're gonna grow
Right.
to that. But every adult should be tall. They don't all have to be the same height, but they should be 6 feet or taller.
taller than the average human.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. And they're not. They're
No.
all over. And this is this diversity BS that they want to throw into this show. Look, it's a fantasy set in Northern Europe. I'm sorry. You're going to have to be true for me to believe it. If you're going to insert somebody that's not from Northern Europe, then you better tell me where they came from so I have an idea and can believe it.
Right.
When in Lord of the Rings, when you had that battle and you had the elephants with all these Middle Eastern looking characters, they came from a far distance
Yep.
to fight. So then I believe they came from another part of Middle Earth.
Correct. Yeah.
They didn't just get up from their their chairs in Middle Earth and said, let's get into this war. They traversed.
Yep.
If you had what's the name? Andor? What's the name? Andor. Star Wars.
Which character are you talking
Arendor. If you gave Arendor a journey,
yeah.
Imagine this. Imagine this. This guy is in the shittiest of the slums or shittiest area of Middle Earth, where there is a race of elves. There are his skin type, right?
Right.
Or similar of elk. He traverses out of there because he just wants a better life. He could be Nori. He could be the Nori of the elves. I want to I want to have a better life. I want to find something else out there that I could be of, help. He could train as an archer, but he's never been trained by an army as archer. So he's just like a kid just picks up a bow and learns, right? And you can give him a story saying that, hey, I want to be important one day. I want to do something good. I want to be with the best elves out there, right?
Yeah.
Give him that. I don't care. Like, give me something believable, man. Like something to chew on, for God's sakes. This guy just shows up with a fresh hair. I can't get over the hair.
He's the hero. He's the hero. They got to have one.
I just can't get over this fine fade and perfect haircut. Where is this barbershop? I've been asking you. I can't find it.
He was born that way. Coming out of the womb, he had that set of hair, man.
Does hair not grow?
I don't think so. Not for elves. Well, actually, that's not true because Elrond eventually gets long hair. So.
Even Celebrimbor, what's with the hairstyle there? It's so bad.
Yeah, I don't get the whole. They really just wanted them to be it. See, okay, so this is kind of the problem, right? They want to try to distinguish and make them different. That means they have no faith in their writing. They have no faith in their characters.
No.
And they have no faith in the actors to differentiate themselves apart from one another. So they have to make them look different.
These little cheesy tricks they have to do. These Pardo tricks.
Yeah. If anything, they could have looked at, you know who did it really well? Freaking Clone Wars with the clone troopers. They were different. Even though they were all the same people, they all looked the same. They did and the same voice actor made it so believable that each of those clones that had names were actually different people.
I don't even care. Just give them a scar then if you want to make them look different.
That won't be enough.
Celebrimbor is a smith. Give him some scars or, cut on his hands. I don't care. Like, make him.
And he's not just a smith. He is the greatest elven smith.
I apologize. The greatest, yes, which gets me even more angry when I say that. because this dude couldn't find his hammer.
No, he should have been more grand. He should have had more grandeur to him. You know, like I am the greatest Elvin Smith, and yeah, I mean, he is humble, sure, but like, dude made so much, and you for a character like if you're gonna bring a character down, you got to start him up high. He was kind of like here, and then they were like, okay, we're just gonna drop you drastically. That's what it felt like. He was just like an average Joe that they made go crazy.
Some random person comes in, takes over the whole place, says I'm in charge, and Celebrimbo's gone crazy. Nobody questions it. Nobody goes to check on him to see if he's actually validly going crazy. He comes on and says, this, you know what, is playing us all for a fool. And everybody turns to Sauron and says, you know what, you're right. He's actually gone crazy. They tried to make us believe as audience that they were able to cleverly write that. It did not come out good at all.
Not at all. No.
It was just terrible. And here's the thing. This whole they tried to make the war at the end the best thing about it. They try to pitch their tent saying that this war is a reason why you should watch this show. This war was garbage. Garbage.
It was not great.
First of all, we talked about this. First of all, is that this wall that they were trying to break is only like 10% of the city.
Yes.
There's a 90% of the city that's wide open. You can walk in.
Yep. There's a bridge that leads to their drawbridge.
2 bridges. They literally showed in season 1 the aerial view of the city.
Mm-hmm.
They forgot about it in season 1. Oh, by the way, yeah, you're right. We did show an aerial view of the place, 90% freely able to walk in.
Yeah. Instead, they found a part in the wall. Somehow, they found the part of the wall where the structural integrity of the wall was the weakest.
So here's the thing. I can't remember, Shad, I think his name is. He's a YouTuber. He's a medieval specialist. He was breaking down the machine that they were using to break the wall down.
Ooh, okay.
So in the show, you see them put these metal pegs into the wall, right?
Yes, only to have them rip out the wall.
So here's the thing. If it's a metal peg going into a wall, what's holding it to pull the rocks back out? It's not like a Gatling or like a claw that extracts in.
Right. Like it's
nothing. So when you pull it out, it's just going to come right out. There's nothing to grab on.
Okay. Like there should have been like spikes as soon as it goes in, like reach out to pull out.
But you can't even do that on a solid stone.
Right. Oh, right.
Do you see how bad it is? And then they make this random bullshit machinery that doesn't exist. Nobody in medieval times ever used this bullshit machine that they had where it pulls. Why would you want to do that? Why don't you just get a battering ram?
You know, it's funny that you say that because they don't actually start getting like proper, like, well, I was going to say proper technology, but like real medieval technology until Sauron starts to take over because he becomes that master creator after Celebrimbor goes. Like they rely on technology to start like messing up other kingdoms and shit. So yeah, a battering ram would have made more sense because it's a little bit more simplistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could create catapults. You can create battering rams.
Right.
Speaking of catapults, there's the scene where they turn the catapults and aim at the rocks in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the camera angles of some of it, that is a great distance. And to get that height,
it's a further distance from what they were shooting at Eregion at.
Double the distance probably, and not just distance. The height is so high.
Yep.
And the way they did this was they had a tiny little rock sitting on a bed. What is this? Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote? How is it just by coincidence a tiny little rock sitting holding a giant boulder from falling, and you hit that right on the spot the first try?
Yeah.
So let's say
I saw that. I was like, this is way too convenient for that to be placed like that. It would have made more sense if the rock just hit the mountain and it started breaking off other rocks after like a few shots, not some conveniently placed rock by the hand of God. It was like, oh, I'm gonna just balance these rocks on this mountain like feng shui masters do. And
I told you,
leave it.
Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. That's what it is. The only thing was left was seeing Acme logo at the bottom of that rock.
Oh, God,
Right?
yeah,
That's it.
fair. Yeah.
So let's overlook all of this as much
Mhm.
as bad as it is. Those rocks fall down in the water, and all of a sudden it creates a tidal wave.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's science. In the
No, no, no.
world of Amazon's
You
Lord of
need
the Rings.
way more than a couple of boulders to make that sizable wave, my friend.
Oh, I'm just bugging,
Seriously,
man. I'm just bugging. I
it,
know, I know.
it's crazy. And I'm
But
looking,
you
I'm
got
like,
to remember,
what?
this is the Rings of Power, Elvin. This is peak storytelling. What
Ah.
they do makes sense.
Let's talk about the rings themselves.
Mm,
It's named after the show is named after it, right?
yes.
They are some of the most disgusting, cheesy looking rings I've ever seen.
Well, let's just start with the Elven rings. They are. It looks like something you get
It's
from one of those
so
like
bad.
dollar machines with the mystery
Yeah, yeah.
prize
I told you
inside.
put the ring pops.
Yes, that's what the Elven rings feel like. Those should have been more artfully crafted
The
because they're
drawings that
elves.
he had look better than the actual rings.
The rings that he made for the men, the king of men, looked 1,000 times better than what the elves did. I don't know what they were thinking about. Just let's do a basic ring with a platform and just shove a friggin' stone inside. That's all we need. This is a master craftsman. This dude makes art. He makes art. This is his livelihood.
Those rings need to be so good that the NFL starts calling them up and saying, "Can you make rings for our teams?"
Yes.
That's how good those rings had to be.
Yeah. And then we get the dwarfen rings, and they look okay. They're still not great, but they look okay. I think what they were trying to do with some of them too, like if you looked at Durin's ring with the big stone, was trying to mirror like a mountain almost. That's what I got from it. They're like dwarves, mountains make sense. I was like, you know what? That's a good theme. I'm okay with this. They shouldn't be like super fancy because dwarves aren't fancy by nature when it comes to their crafting. If it does the job, that's all they really care about. So the rings kind of made sense for me with the dwarves, right?
Yeah.
I guess now that I think about it, the fancy rings for the kings of men kind of makes sense because like humans, we like kind of fancy shit. And if they're going to royalty, especially royalty in like medieval times, they would want fancy jewelry to show off,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So but it's still with the elves, that very simplistic look for their rings
It
was
looked very
disgusting.
cheesy. Very cheesy and cheap.
Disgusting to me, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at what they did. Like, if they own, do they own the movie rights now to the Lord of the Rings, right? Like,
I don't think so.
no, okay. I thought they bought MGM, and I thought MGM kind of helped with doing. Maybe
No, no.
I'm
MGM doesn't hold rights. Tolkien's estate holds the rights.
okay.
They
Okay,
give it out. You pay for it, and they give it out certain parts.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm like, just look at what they did
Warner
with the.
Brothers actually has the Lord of the Rings rights.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, those rings looked amazing. They made it look different. They fit the theme of where they were coming from. And this is just like, oh yeah, white stone, white ring. Here you go, Galadriel, red stone, blah blah blah. Give it to Sheridan, and I was just not cool. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. But the newer rings, okay, like I get it. I get where you're going with this, but the elves should have had something better. That's just my 2 cents, man.
What is the general elf name?
Oh, which one? The you're talking about the High King?
Yeah, hiking. What's his name again?
Gil Galad.
Dude, I don't know where I saw this again. I wish I can give credit to people who see this stuff. I see so many videos all the time from various things. They showed what he really was like in the books.
Ooh,
Strong,
yes.
decisive leader.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sugarcoat things. And this character, the way they wrote it, is not that. This character is weak.
He is very undecisive, you know? He doesn't have that decision-making ability almost. He has to rely on other people is what it feels like. Or wait for others' counsel. Like you, the High King, dog. Rule. Rule like a High King should.
Why is Elrond leading the charge against the orcs? This guy shows up later and says, I gotta be here with my people. Dude, they've been fighting for over 10 hours and you finally showed up in your horse.
He's got to make that grand entrance like he's the hero, dude.
Just like keep ruining characters, keep ruining him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just he's so obnoxious too. He's just annoying.
Yeah.
Why is every time he talks, he has to talk in riddles?
Right.
Shut up. Just talk normal.
Go. Yeah. And then like him saying, "Oh, like we can't trust Galadriel because of blah blah blah." Like she never told us anything, but she brought you the damn rings to save the elves. So that part you trusted. That was fine. But her lying about knowing who Sauron was or who Hellbrand was, not okay. So how do you trust the rings but not that?
You just gotta kiss and tell.
It's yeah. Whew. Elrond too. Elrond too.
Just
Okay, you know what? I will say Elrond was probably the
he did
most.
nut up a little bit though.
He was the most consistent until like near the end, where he was like, "Can't trust Galadriel because of the Sauron thing. I wouldn't trust the rings because she lied about." Like he was the most consistent until we got near the end, and where like he led that charge, and then he saw Galadriel like tied up, or even her. Wait, no, maybe that's when she was sacrificing herself to have them run away, because he took that ring and was like, "Okay, I guess we'll figure shit out." And then we get to that point where she is captured and he just stops, then proceeds to make out with her by giving her a goddamn thing to unlock her shackles. And he's like, "Don't worry, dwarves are coming."
Before that, I like the orc. Don't worry, he has nothing on him. We patted him down.
Yeah.
What? Who
got
writes
no
that?
whipping.
Why would you write that into the script?
I would assume that would be already a given because he's entering an enemy camp. Why wouldn't you check him before he comes into an enemy camp?
I want to talk about Galadriel and Sauron, but I want to wait till the end because I think they deserve to have at the ending there. So I want to put a pause on that. Let's go into Durin and the Dwarves, which I had number 2. You have it number 1. And
number 1.
And I know why, because you have been consistently saying to me that you think this is the best story and the best overall atmosphere.
Yes.
So go ahead and
100%.
Let's talk about Durin and the Dwarves.
Like I would say, like right from the get-go, from season 1, when you even when you meet Durin for the first time when he's with Elrond, like the actor that portrays Durin feels so genuine with his character. Like it feels like he cares about what is happening with Durin, that he plays him as this, like he's a friend to Elrond, but he needs to care about his people. He respects what his father says. Like there's a respect for this character that he has done, that I feel like some of the other actors kind of, or maybe it's not the actor's fault, maybe it's just how they were written, but it seemed like they cared more about the dwarves than the rest of the story, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is what it is, because it made for me better storytelling for this show. And then
he's consistently concerned about the well-being.
Yes, about his people and about his friends that are like on the outside, and then when we finally get that interaction with him and his father, you can see there's like a real father-son relationship between those two. Like they do care about each other. And at the same time, it feels like King Durin is trying to teach Prince Durin the ways to rule his kingdom, this kingdom, and about the people. Like from when he said, maybe it's time that the dwarves do go, or sorry, not the dwarves, the elves have had their time. This is how the world works. He was trying to tell us that like time doesn't stop for anybody. It keeps moving forward, and by trying to stop time, you're manipulating the nature of the world, which should never be a thing. It's people, like things have their time and they come and go. Yeah. And as we get through to the second season, we kind of see more of that, and and actually, like once they get the rings, you see King Durin, it feeds more on the greed of the dwarves, and like how they want those shiny things. It feeds to like their negative natures, and you see Prince Durin really concerned, but he knows that's like his father. He still has that respect for his father because that's not how his father would normally act. There's other forces at play that he doesn't know of yet that are manipulating him, and it's just a care like there's a lot of care with those two characters, which I don't know why they decided to do it with just them. They didn't. I feel like they didn't take that into consideration for any of the other characters that we have throughout the show. So for me, like their chemistry, but bar none, the best so far in these 2 seasons.
What about Disa?
Disa, I feel, was just like an added character. Like he needed a wife. Like it was just one of those things where, like, actually, she does a kind of an okay job of like trying to get Durin to go against her father, be like, this is not what your father is. This is not how he normally rules. Like, we need to do something, otherwise it's going to spell the end for all of us. And he's like, yeah, you're right, but at the same, like this is my dad. Like, he does know better. He's ruled for so long. He's made our people prosperous. Like, I just can't go against my father. She does a good job of bringing concerns to him. But she's definitely more of a supporting character to him. She's not like that important. The whole like stone singing thing, I guess, kind of plays a role into it, with them not being able to find the proper caverns, and you can see how the ring manipulates the King Durin to do that. But her overall character, I feel, was just okay. It wasn't anything spectacular that added more to like both the Durins.
Yeah, I mean, let me change the picture here. I didn't even change the picture the whole time. Shame on me. You need to see a Durin. Give it to me straight and give it to me raw. That was a really bad, terrible line in season 1. Give it to me straight, Elrond, and give it to me raw.
What do you mean? That was the best line, dude.
Disa annoys me. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. I don't like the character. She annoys me, and the singing is just like hilarious. I can't stop laughing.
Yeah,
it just feels weird. I know people like, hey, it's part of the the story. I don't know. I don't know. Again,
is it just her? Is it just her?
Well, here's the thing. I don't even believe she's a dwarf.
I know this is your thing with the whole bearded.
It pisses me off. I need luscious beards. Give it to me. Look at his beard.
This is like your day one thing, man. Like, they don't have beards.
Hammer it down. Be particular. Hammer it down. It's not just dwarves. It's elves too. They don't know how to hammer down these races. They're not humans. They're different races.
Yeah.
That's what they're called: dwarves, elves, humans. They're not called dwarf humans. They're not called elf humans. They are complete different races. This is not real world. This is a fantasy world.
Right.
So double down on it. And
at which point you could say, like, she's just like a little person who decided to hang out with the dwarves, because there's no difference.
Double down on the fantasy, make it believable. Do not have exceptions.
Yeah.
This is what it is. They're scared to put a beard on her because they're afraid of that cultural group telling them, hey, how dare you, make her look ugly or something like that. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is.
I also feel like, just to add on to that, I feel like if they were to do that, maybe it's just me, but I think they think if they put a beard on a dwarf woman, people really won't take it that seriously. They'll find it silly. But that's not the case. Like, it's not.
They've done it in Lord of the Rings. Nobody batted an eye. Nobody cared.
Right.
And the people who watch and who read, they're the ones you should be appeasing first.
Yeah. You speak to your fan base, not to new fans.
Exactly.
Your fan base will support it, and they'll tell other people, like, hey, you should check this out because this story is dope, and they've done a good job changing the medium from book to film.
I've seen on social media people who are a fan of a show defend the show and explain to people who are newcomers, no, you got it wrong. This is actually fact. Right? If they put beards on her and people say that looks silly that they have beards. Oh, you guys are trying to make her look like she's, a they or them, blah, blah, whatever you want to call it, the pronouns. No, people from the show are going to come out and say, no, you idiot. Dwarves in Lord of the Rings or Tolkien's lore had beards. That's why they went and gave them beards.
Yep.
It has nothing to do with any agendas.
No.
It's actual taken out from the lore.
And
you're gonna
the
you'll
male
see
dwarves
that.
call their women beautiful because of that. They love them because of that. Like a nice burly
Aye,
beard on a
she's
dwarf woman.
got a flock of beard that I like, laddie.
Yeah.
She's got my ruffles.
Yeah.
So that's look at his beard. It is mwah. It is
Luscious.
perfect.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Like it's so shiny.
Maybelline is makeup. It's not hair product. Jesus. Vidal Sassoon. That's what you were talking about. Vidal Sassoon. Jeez. Anyways, I do not care for this character. Another character that has no background. We don't know where she came from because she sticks out like a sore thumb here.
Yeah. She's the only one of her kind. I mean,
I did not see another black dwarf in the show. I could be wrong.
Not in Casa Doom anyway.
I tried to look in the background for anybody else of her, background, and nothing. I could not see anything.
Yeah. Which would lead me to believe, even though they don't state this in the show, I'd like to believe that she came from another kingdom at that point, but they don't like I know where you're going to go with it. It's like they should have mentioned that, and you're absolutely right. They should have mentioned that. But in my head canon, like she came from another dwarven kingdom. We just don't know which one.
When he invited the other dwarves, right-hand man to come, when the king Durin invited them, how nice would have been to see one of the right-hand man be a black dwarf come in and she goes, "Uncle blah blah blah," and gives him a hug.
Yep.
Done right there.
Also, I mean, I kind of want to add on to this. If you want to create diversity in your show, that would have been the perfect time to be like, they're like different races of dwarves. They're different colors. This is what the dwarves are. They're
Different
kind of
kingdoms.
like,
there you go.
Correct. Yeah. It was a missed opportunity for them.
She comes and gives Uncle, I don't know, Uncle Jerome a hug, right?
Uncle Jerome.
Yeah, like I'm just, think of a name, right? Uncle Jerome comes and she gives him a hug. And a story.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
It's so simple, but yet so difficult for them to implement.
Right.
World building is you need to do this. It's in Middle Earth. You have to world build. You've already taken liberties. Might as well just go and do it properly then.
And again, that meeting of like the dwarf and emissaries would have been the perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because then it would have been more believable to be like, okay, there is different.
It gives it structure. It gives it foundation.
Yeah,
it gives this character something to stand on.
Yeah, but they made them all white.
You're not a random anomaly in this group.
Right.
There are hundreds of dwarves in this cave, and you're just the only one. I would be depressed if I was like that in real life. Can you imagine that? Raised in a village, and you're the only one of your type. That's kind of like disturbing. You'd be questioning everybody. Like, why am I different?
Questioning not just that, but you'd be like outcasted because you're not like everybody else.
Feel insecure.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Probably would have gave her character like a lot more respectability if they did that with her.
And another thing would have happened was you would have give Durin more royalty, but he went outside of the kingdom and married somebody,
creating an alliance with another kingdom.
Because only royal families can do that.
Yep.
Damn it! We should have been writing on this goddamn show. Would have fixed the nonsense that they've given us. Right? I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and trying to make the show better because it already is a turd.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to spin it into something.
Right.
Right. Because you could at least try to salvage whatever is here. And they can't even do that.
Yeah, because they don't know what they're doing, man.
Give it to me straight and give it to me raw. Come on, Elrond.
You had to put that on a shirt, dude.
I know, right? And just have a beard. Give it to me straight. And give it to me raw. Oh, God. So you have this as your number one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have
just
this at number two.
Again, and it's just because of what the Durins have. It's their chemistry. It's believable that they're father and son. And when he sees his dad like change and then come back after sacrificing himself, there's a lot more respect founded for his dad. He's like he didn't go down in disgrace. He left as it was self-sacrifice, which for a lot of people is like the highest form of redeemability, you know. So that's
Check
why it's my number one. It's
check out
just
this. This is a picture for the ages. Check out Sauron on the right there.
oh wow,
So menacing.
good lord, they really fancy up in there.
All right, so here we are. This is our actual cover background, but we want to end it off with Galadriel and
Mhm.
Sauron. What a pathetic attempt to show good versus evil when the two of them, all she wants to do is just get thirsty. She's just thirsty all over Sauron, and there's so many people out there like we love this thirst trap. We love this relationship that the two of them have. No, they don't have a relationship.
They never did.
You're trying to make something that doesn't exist.
Yep, trying to force it
Oh,
down your throats.
literally. Um, boy,
Literally, man.
should have stayed away from that one, but I couldn't.
Like, because it's crazy because it started with her hunting him down, trying to hunt him down because of the death of her brother, right? And she
Where's her
needs help.
husband, by the way?
You know, it's funny. It's still not established. I don't, and I have a
They
weird
just
feeling.
totally don't ignore it.
Yep, they don't want her to have one yet. It's too soon. It's too soon. It's they need her to be like the strong, independent elf that she is. You know.
A lot of people who watch this don't even realize that. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
They don't even realize that she has a husband this whole time. And then dude Elrond just gives her a kiss.
And Arndir is trying to pick up the seconds
And
for that one.
Arnir's like, ha, hold my beer. Here I
Yeah,
come.
I'm coming in. Yeah.
She gonna like my fade.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
just such a tragedy of the new they basically this is what I've been noticing with a lot of shows that are trying to revamp or redo these shows. They try to erase history. They try to erase the true stories and insert their own bullshit. And then so new fans watch this and go, that's what it was the whole time.
Well, I don't even think it's erasing. I think that what they're doing is changing it so they can be like, see, this happened for her to lead to this person or go to that person or be married and have kids with this one. Like it's not so much erasing. I think they're trying to change history is what they're doing.
Well, if you change history, you erase the past of what it was, right? What I'm saying is they have the scripts, they have the books, and they're like, no, but he loosely meant this, this, and this. He never loosely said that Galadriel will have a love relationship with Sauron.
Mhm.
It's in no way indicated in any of his writing.
No, they were two opposite ends of the spectrum. Like there should have been no way that they even clicked together like that. And all this show
Did
did
they
was
even
show.
meet each other ever?
I don't think so. I'll look into it. Like I know we're not going to do another show, but when season 3 happens and we
Yeah.
start to cover it, I'll have that information ready.
The ring that she's given apparently has healing powers.
Yeah, and I don't think it's meant to be like a
No,
healing ring.
all it is supposed to do is control.
Yeah,
That's the whole purpose of all the rings. The one ring
yeah.
to rule them all.
I actually have what these rings are supposed to do. Okay,
Okay.
so like Nenya, her ring is associated with preservation, protection, and concealment from evil. Galadriel uses its power to maintain the beauty and serenity of Lothlorien, which is where she resides in like Lord of the Rings, and preserving it from decay and corruption. And she is wary that if she uses it too openly, Sauron will influence the ring. So that's what Nenya is supposed to do. It's not supposed to have like healing abilities. I mean, maybe maintaining the beauty, like we saw on Adar with it being reversed, that we see happen, like because it's preserving it from decay and corruption, which plays into that part of the ring, but it's not supposed to necessarily heal people. The one that's supposed to do that is supposed to be like Elrond's ring, like that one, its abilities aren't like fully detailed, but it's believed that like healing and protection is a part of the ring because Erlon himself is supposed to be a great healer. So it enhances his ability to heal things that should not be regularly healed.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then the third ring, Narya, which is the ring of fire, that's more associated with inspiring hope, courage, and resistance against tyranny and despair. It's believed too that it's supposed to have protective abilities, allowing it to like inspire and uplift others, which is what you see in Lord of the Rings with Gandalf inspiring others to go on a journey, or when he brought back like the riders of Rohan, or how he gathered the people of Gondor to like protect Gondor and fight back. So it makes sense, and it plays into those powers of the ring.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that out. Appreciate that.
Bath time is the only one with some knowledge out here, man. I got some.
Let's wrap this up here. We gave our overall, I think, score last episode.
Yeah.
I think you gave it a 3 and something. I
like
gave it a
3.5, 4.
Yeah, I think I was right there with you in that time frame.
Yeah.
That's really bad. Really bad in numbers. It's bad. When the average is 5, right? So
ooh, is like is that like a Rotten Tomato score?
Well, it's the not the critic score, the people's.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's not that great. Probably has changed by now, but I checked that a while back. For those people that I noticed that a lot of people who don't know anything about Lord of the Rings and they're watching it, they're like, it's not bad, it's pretty good. I like it in that.
Which, you know, I would say that makes sense for them. If you don't know anything, you don't know what you're watching. Like for them, I feel like that would make sense because they're just coming into this brand new, right?
For me, I want to pull my hair out, whatever's left of it. And I'm just like, what do you mean you like this? Like, I get on a couple of friends of mine. They're like, whoa, you're so defensive. I'm like, no, you're stupid. Watch this show. Even if you're not a fan of it, how do you not see terrible writing, terrible decisions? How do you not see? Like, you should be able to see basic stuff that's issued wrong with this.
Yeah.
Like, you saw a guy get stabbed, and the next scene, he's fine. He's literally walking with no limp, nothing. He was left for dead on the battlefield. It's not like you took a Swiss Army knife and stabbed him. He took a sword to him. Like, seriously.
Yep.
Right? And he doesn't, and his armor that he's wearing where he got stabbed is not even damaged. It's those little things that I say that the average viewer should be able to figure out and go, what the hell is this?
Right. So I had to quickly look up like Rotten Tomato scores. I just want to quickly put this out there. So from season 1 to season 2, Rotten Tomato scores were about the same. It was like 83, 84%. But the popcorn meter, the fan viewership, season 1 had 38%. Okay. But season 2 got 59%.
That's what I was saying. It's 5 out of 10. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. I'm like, so season 2 went up, and I wonder if that's because we finally got into like near the end of things where it's shit's supposed to happen with like the dwarves and I feel like the Durin scene alone is what made it pop up, where he sacrificed himself against the Balrog. I feel that was the only scene that made it pop for them, and that's why people are like, "This is."
But even that scene looks so ridiculous. This guy's jumping in midair with tiny little legs. How far is he gonna go? 3 feet off the ledge?
He's a super dwarf, man. He's the king, man.
And all of a sudden, he hits the Balrog with his axe. What?
Yes, he's King Durin, son. He can do that.
If you look at it from the other angle, where they show Balrog like looking into the cave, he's literally like 30 feet away. His head is 30 feet away. This dude in his tiny little dwarf legs jumped that far. What is he, Homer on the skateboard when he's trying to go across? I'm gonna make it.
You know, that actually is kind of a good point, because like if you remember back in the Two Towers where Gimli's to Aragorn, he's like, throw me. Aragorn's like, what? He's like, throw me. I can't make that jump. I'm like, okay, like that makes sense, dude. You stubbly. I get it.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. It's so dumb, and what a waste of a life. Durin should have said, "Dad, shut the hell up and get over here."
Yeah,
that thing is like 7 stories tall. Yep. It's gonna rip you apart in 5 seconds. You taking an axe to it will do nothing. There's no heroism. It's stupidity.
Yeah.
It's just right down stupidity.
Yeah.
His death went down in what was he accomplishing there? Nothing.
Nothing.
This creature will get into those caves and destroy shit.
Yep. Because it wasn't like the Balrog was after Prince Durin. You know? It was after King Durin.
They try to make this a very climactic, important father and son, the father giving up his life for his son. It did not pan out well.
Yeah.
People laughed at it. A lot of people, especially with that scene where he's in slow motion in the air with the tiny little legs, right? He's doing the Jordan with his tiny little legs, right?
Air Durin.
Yeah, Aaron. Oh, there you go, Aaron Durin. Give it to me straight. Give it to me raw. It's so stupid. What a stupid decision. I hate this show so much. But it's giving me some great laugh.
Yeah.
I've laughed my ass off watching this show, how stupid it is. Yeah, so we hope that whoever does say that I like this show, leave a comment. Tell me why you like the show. Give me a couple of pointers of why you like this show. But
I'd like somebody that doesn't know squat about Lord of the Rings to watch this and like.
I have a friend. I have a friend that
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to him when I get a chance because he likes the show and he's not a fan. So I want to sit down and actually have a conversation with him and ask him why he likes the show.
We should just bring him on as a guest and be like,
no,
hey,
no one deserves to come on here and talk about this show. We're being mean by doing that, by bringing them on here. Such a disrespect to bring people on here to talk about this show. I don't want to even come here and talk about this show. Anyway, season 2 is a wrap. Thank God for that. We will talk about season 3 when it does come out, whenever that is, probably 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But we will look into maybe talking about Penguin. That is a show that people should be watching on HBO Max or HBO.
It's a great show.
Great show. Yeah, just really, really good show. And Colin Farrell is just like an absolute stud in acting. And the female Falcone girl, I forgot her name, she's also a great actress.
Yeah.
In her own rights. Just great chemistry there, man. It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's just really good.
And they got around to fleshing other characters out too. I know, like with Vic, you didn't really like him, but
he's grown on me. I admitted it. I did not like the character in the beginning, but he's grown on me. And like you said, importance of giving depth to characters makes people want to cheer and root for them and watch them.
Yeah.
Right. And you got that. So great show. We'll probably touch base. We'll talk about it next week, the show when it drops. We'll probably do a night show, right? Because the Penguin comes out at night.
Yes. Yeah.
So so watch out for that. We'll put the time frame out when the show comes out, and immediately right after the show, we'll talk about. We have 4 episodes that we can kind of bring up here. It's mid-season, so we're starting halfway through for it, but that show deserves to be talked about.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it needs more exposure if people don't know about it.
I think more people need to know about it, and we definitely want to get into that. So we will see you guys next week about the Penguin, and maybe something else will come up. We'll talk about that too. But everybody out there, if you're new to this channel, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell too, so you'll know when we pop up our 3 shows that we do every week. We do a Monday show at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That is a collector show, all things pop culture, collectible stuff. And then on Thursdays, we do a movie and TV show, all things in Hollywood, Popcorn Chicken, which is 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Our new time is 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then obviously this show here, which we usually do in the daytime, but because the Penguin comes out at night, we're probably going to do a show right after the Penguin airs on HBO. So check us out every week. Support us. Everybody that watches us, hit the like button. It makes a big difference to us. All right, we out. May the power be with you. Rings. We's out.
Peace.
Right?